Alright everyone, time for the final episode of Review of the Day, which is I Know What You'll Do Next Summer. Veronica and Piz hang out at her house. Keith tells Veronica on her upcoming private investigator exam, and Piz says that he is interviewing a former child soldier and her student Apollo for his radio show. Keith informs his deputies that a robbery wave has been occurring. Piz interviews the student before telling Veronica that he has been offered an internship by Pitchfork Media. Veronica receives a 95% of the PI exam before being called by a man stating that Apollo is his son. Keith speaks to a suspect in some of the robberies and discovers that he is connected to the Fitzpatricks. Logan meets Parker's parents, who are very uptight. Veronica speaks to Apollo, posing as a reporter for the school newspaper, finding that Apollo's mother's handwriting is very similar to the letter his father claimed to have from his mother. Logan tells Parker he will not be seeing her this summer because he will be on a surfing trip with Dick. Mac and Max spend all their time together. Piz tells Veronica about another internship in Neptune, but she does this attempt to ask about which one he should take. Keith meets Liam Fitzpatrick, who states that the robberies will not stop. Apollo learns that Veronica was not assigned by the school paper, and Veronica tells him the truth, but he refuses a paternity test. Some people begin to grow dissatisfied with Keith's handling of the robberies, while Apollo's father claimant appears in Neptune. Veronica searches for Apollo, learning from his former roommate that Apollo did not actually write the book, and he was never a child soldier. However, Wallace urges her not to expose him as a hoax, as his book is actually helping charities that need child soldiers. At the job fair, Wallace is seen signing up for Invisible Children, Inc. Apollo tells Veronica that he does want the paternity test. Dick's father, who was involved in a corporate crime, appears embraced for going on the surfing trip in the summer. Apollo takes the paternity test, but the father doesn't appear. However, Apollo informs Veronica that he actually was a child soldier, and listens for a roommate to tell her that he wasn't so that he can ensure his father was genuinely loving. The only reason the father did not show up to the paternity test was that he was detained for having the wrong license plates. Apollo and the father meet at the sheriff's office, where they have an emotional reunion. Dick angrily confronts his father, but the next time he is seen, he calls off the trip with Logan. Logan tells Parker this news, and she is disappointed. After seeing an ad for Vincent Vanlo's campaign for sheriff, Veronica gets the news that she has been accepted into the FBI's internship program. Interesting. So now let's take a look at the production of this episode. I Know What You'll Do Next Summer was written by Jonathan Moskin and David Muelli and directed by Nick Mark, marking Moskin's third and final writing credit, Muelli's second and final writing credit, and Mark's 10th and final directing credit. The episode contains several references to the charity Invisible Children, Inc., which aims to increase awareness for these child soldiers in the Lord's Resistance Army in Uganda. The episode also ends with a public service announcement delivered by Jason Dohring, Kristen Bell, and Ryan Hansen out of character. Bell is an active supporter for the organization, while Hansen is the brother-in-law of founder Jason Russell. Series creator Rob Thomas was initially worried about including the reunion between Apollo and Kizza because he thought that such scenes did not play to his strengths as a storyteller. However, he was pleased with the result because of the two actors' performances. The two performers had never met each other prior to this scene, and they were filming within 4 minutes of setup time. One quote by Vinny about the office's secretaries was a callback to a similar joke in Of Vice and Men. Thomas was inspired to focus an episode on a former Ugandan child soldier by two incidents. The first was when he was initially informed about the sushi by a former student of his mother's, while at Christmas the previous year, Hansen had given books about Ugandan child soldiers to all the writers. In the episode, Apollo was scheduled to appear on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Oprah's book club was discussing a book about a child soldier at the time, but this was a coincidence. In the episode, Piz states that he has been given an internship with Pitchfork Media at their headquarters in New York City. However, the location is incorrect. Did not know that. So overall, I think this episode is kind of interesting, and yay for the fact that Veronica got accepted into the FBI's internship program, but nay about Vinny going up against Keith for sheriff, so yeah. So overall, I give I Know What You'll Do Next Summer 4 marshmallows out of 5. Well, anyway, tune in tomorrow as we take a look at the penultimate episode of the series. Weevils wobble, but they don't go down. So, until then, remember everyone, the game's afoot.